The IWC is an echo chamber of unoriginal thought, neckbeard ideologies that's been ruining the great sport of wrestling. So today I'm going to be talking about common myths, common bait, common propaganda that's been spreading around as of late. As you can see here, I have my chart to break this down with an autistic level of detail, alright? Because that's what we do over here. So, number one, work rate. There's something to be said about the Okadas of the world. There's something to be said about the Kenny Omegas of the world. Okay, they serve their purpose in this wrestling universe. I do enjoy a high-paced match here and there. But if I'm being honest, sometimes it feels like brain rot. Flips, V-triggers, super kicks, all of these moves that my brain can't even compute sometimes. That is what it feels like to watch AEW. That is what it feels like to have a high work rate sometimes. Again, I'm not saying that I don't get it, alright? I do understand the greatness of Kenny Omega. I do understand the greatness and the importance, but work rate as a whole, it doesn't matter. Okay, which leads me on to my next point. Long matches automatically equate to 5-star bangers. I hate this inclination, I hate this implication that Goldberg sucks. The overall shock of dominating your opponent that quick in record time of 2-3 minutes is actually a lot more memorable and impressive than a 3-hour special of Matt Jackson and Will Ospreay doing flips on each other, okay? It feels like a coping mechanism because they're just flipping out of insignificance, and the neckbeards eat it up, okay? They love all that stuff. Look, I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but Batista versus Great Khali back in 2008 or 2007, the Punjabi prison match, that was one of my favorite matches of all time. Alright, I'll admit it to you. And look, I already hear the neckbeards with Dave Meltzer body pillows.
According to Dave Meltzer's work rate rating 5-star match, I think that Samoa Joe and Kenny Omega actually had a better match than Batista and Khali, because Khali, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. So, are you gonna buy that expo ticket? A lot of these people can't think for themselves, and they look to David Meltzer to see if they can like a match, which is ridiculous, okay? Batista versus Khali, Punjabi prison was my favorite. I know it was slow as hell, alright? I know it was quick, but to me, it was a spectacle of a moment to see Batista jumping cage to cage, getting away from this fucking madman of Khali, right? Who would fucking squeeze the life out of Rey Mysterio. I swear to God, I went to school and people were scared of Great Khali. People were scared of that music. People never ever liked tigers anymore. I say that to say this, okay? The premise of the match, the plot of the match is what's important, alright? It doesn't matter how many moves you do. It doesn't matter how many super kicks, how many false finishes you do. It means virtually nothing if you can't put a story to it. Moving on. A lot of people in the IWC have this ideology that casual fans don't matter. Believe it or not, your boy Intern John and his grandma used to watch wrestling. Okay, SmackDown every Friday night, Batista, right? We would cheer for Batista. There was characters that she can get behind as a casual viewer, right? Whatever's left of her consciousness. She hated Vicky Guerrero because it just cut through every channel we flip, right? Oh, Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, boom, right? Vicky Guerrero yelling at Edge. The reason why those characters stopped my grandma from switching channels is because they popped off the screen. There was characters before that you can universally hate and universally love. There was no in between. There's none of this tweener BS, right? It was just pure heels and pure faces, which I understand if you're trying to make it more nuanced and you're trying to make the product a little more interesting with throwing in a tweener like Drew McIntyre. But you will lose the casual viewer because they don't have time. You think my grandma has time? No, man. She will get confused, dementia, all that stuff. Okay, you're not helping. Okay, but the neckbeards, all right, the people in the IWC, they don't care. They don't care about those intimate moments. You think about Cheryl, right? Your neighbor. She has 3 kids, a divorce coming up, she has to take her kids to soccer every Tuesday. You think she's gonna care about a fucking Fraxium? You think she's gonna scroll and Fraxium, wow. Oh, wow. No. You think she's gonna scroll stop on Kevin Owens? If I can't sit down and watch with my grandma, it's a shit product, okay? But again, the IWC likes to bury the casual fans and say that their opinions don't matter, right? They're just irrelevant to the conversation. Universally, casual fans are basically just straight to the point viewers. They don't care about the inner works of, how Gargano does the super kick so well and his technical work rate. They weed out who we shouldn't pay attention to. Just because you watch Okada and, Xing Fan Hua back in like 2009, I don't care. I don't care. You think Cheryl cares? No. Right? The furthest she'll go is get Chinese food. But you guys know what I'm saying, okay? Your boy Intern John is probably gonna get in trouble for saying that, right? But you guys gotta support me, okay? You gotta love Intern John. Next point, okay? Next point. Another weird echo-chambered opinion is influencer wrestling is stupid. How can you really blame them? Okay, Logan Paul's a draw, okay? Now the people you love, the people you cherish, the people you like blow smoke up their ass, they're not doing their job. Think about it. Gargano, he's not doing his job. Tommaso is not doing his job. Right? Ivar, not doing their job. I've been to a live show before and I've cheered. Okay? I marked out for Ivar. Okay? I did the whole thing too. War. I did that. Yeet. I did all that shit. Okay? Not because I liked it. It's because it's like an immersive experience. Why not? You spent $5. Why not? It's like going to a water park and expecting not to get wet. You came there to get wet. Okay, you came there to go down the water slide. You came there to eat. You came there to go war with Ivar. Okay? It's Tiffy time, all that shit. Okay, I did it. Why? Because Intern John is a G. He doesn't care, man. Like, the thing is, like, there's people beside me. And you know that fan cam, right? I was standing up and trying to get on the camera, bro. Okay? I spent too much money to be here. I'm gonna try to get on that fucking camera. That's just what it is. The neckbeards, basically, they don't know how to have fun. They don't know how to have fun at these events. They think it's like, some stupid thing that they have to participate in, right? Like, for me, right? I may rant. I may talk shit about Jey Uso, but I have nothing personal towards the guy. These people in the IWC, they have real personal problems and vendettas towards people like Logan Paul, towards people like Jelly Roll, Influencer wrestling has its place, all right? For me, I remember when Floyd Mayweather, he went up against the Big Show, and I was like, damn, it was a spectacle. It was cool to me. He had the brass knucks, he punched him in the mouth. It felt like a real spectacle of a moment, right? The best boxer versus the biggest guy in wrestling, like, it was cool. That highlight, that headline itself sold itself. Like, you didn't need to like think about anything else. It is essential and it is necessary for them to have these little events here and there, okay? Because I guarantee you, if we had nothing, it would be boring. Look, it's called sports entertainment at the end of the day, all right? Moving on. People like Gargano and people like Alistair, right? People like Andrade, these people should not be in the WWE. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the IWC has fooled you guys, all right? Has fooled the neckbeards into thinking that these guys are gonna cook. I seen what he did in AAA. I seen what he did, bro. You gotta see him in AAA. There's this fallacy that the IWC people, they believe that these other promotions are the same promotion as WWE. It has nothing to do with anything. I don't care if he did good in GCW. Okay? I don't care if he did good in AEW. I don't care if he did good in AAA. They're a completely different fan base. AEW, most of them don't even have teeth. Okay? That's just what it is. All right? And they drink Monster all day. WWE, they wear like what Travis Scott shoes, but still, right? They're two different fan bases is what I'm trying to say. I don't get what this obsession is with like other people coming in from other places and thinking that they're gonna be stars. Okay, Shinsuke, as much as I love Shinsuke and I think he's cool, right? He was never meant to be a WWE champion. I'm sorry. You can do it. You know, the people in the IWC, they keep pushing this rhetoric of like, oh, push this person. But it doesn't make any sense. They have no reasoning towards what they say. It's just because they like them. They think they're an anime. They think they're cool. You think Andrade's cool? You know what I think's cool? English. That's what I think's cool. He needs to learn it and cut promos, please. Because me, myself, as, you know, a casual fan, you can call me whatever you want, right? I've been watching since, 2004. I am not falling for this, oh, he's so cool in AAA. He was so good in AAA. Trust me. Just let Papa H cook, dude. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. It's propaganda. It's not going to happen. Let Papa H cook with Andrade? What? The difference between Vince and Triple H is Vince McMahon actually had some taste, right? He looked at Eddie Guerrero. He looked at Rey Mysterio. He's like, boom, English, check. All right, you're jacked, check. Charisma, check. Boom. There you go. A WWE title, a World Heavyweight Championship, right? But Triple H, he has like no litmus test for this stuff. He has no checklist. It's like, oh yeah, ethnic, yes. Flip, yes. Like most of these guys, right? Most of these Latin American wrestlers, they're coming from places that are not, the best. It's the most money they've seen ever in their life. Why wouldn't they work with Triple H? Why wouldn't they take these tag team, like replaceable spots on the card? Why wouldn't they? It would be dumb. But again, the IWC, they gas them up into thinking that they can become like the main guy, but it's just not true. It can't happen, especially if you don't have the intangibles. Okay, another example, Alberto Del Rio. He had all the intangibles. Okay, he spoke English, he dressed well, he had a great gimmick. Okay, he had charisma, he had the swagger. Okay, you can pair that up, that's the same thing. And I was very compelled to him as a kid. I was like, damn, Alberto, you're killing it. Especially when he cashed in the Money in the Bank, he did the armbar. I used to do the armbar on people in school. Just because of Alberto. That's how much I like the guy. Alberto! That's the thing, man. That's the thing. There was actually ethnic wrestlers that you can get behind and be like, you know what, these guys are actually like, damn, threats. Formidable opponents. But nowadays, it's just like Andrade. Yeah, he's just here. He's just going to flip for you. Yeah. Like, is that it? You're going to wear a gas mask and flip and look cool? That's the standard. Jesus Christ, bro. The thing is, Triple H does not know how to convert these guys into, small-time indie, ethnic, wrestlers to Hollywood stars, Hollywood sensations, okay? Vince McMahon successfully did that with Rey Mysterio, okay? He successfully did that with Eddie Guerrero, right? Chavo Guerrero. Right? Chavo was more popular than Andrade. Right? People support Chavo more than, Rey Fenix at this point. Like, in terms of, like, longevity, like, think about it. Like, Rey Fenix or Chavo? Chavo is the guy, okay? I remember Chavo. Ooh, Chavo. I remember that way more than whatever, like, laser-filled entrance music that Rey Fenix has. Okay? Vince McMahon was able to take people like that, right? And make them into stars. All right? Present them into stars in like a legit fashion. Remember Sin Cara? I was so immersed in that storyline of like, the two Sin Caras going at it. Azul. Like, I was into that shit, man. He had aura instantly, right? Just from the ring lights and the presentation, the trampoline. He knew how to make a spectacle, and it was different, right? Sin Cara was so different, man. It was cool, right? Vince did a great job with him. Okay, it sucks that, he had his own shortcomings outside of the ring, but still, if you were to look at him as just a wrestler, the guy can wrestle. The guy was presented in a great way. Okay, way better than Triple H would have done. If it was Triple H, Sin Cara, the guy would go straight into a tag team. And he would be forever forgotten about and just fall into the cesspool of other Latin American wrestlers. Like, think about it. Penta and Rey Fenix, they're the only ones who stick out, because I feel like Triple H, obviously the guy has his favorites. He's not putting any effort into Andrade. And it's so strange. Because to me, I thought Andrade was this cool guy. Like, to me, I would rebrand him right away. Like, take this silly gas mask off. What is that for? What is that for, man? Like, there's no reasoning behind him wearing that. There's no reasoning. There needs to be more reasoning behind these gimmicks. I already made a video on this shit. Right? Go check it out. I'm going to put a card up here. Check that out. There's no reasoning and soul behind these gimmicks. Andrade is just a Latin American guy. Right? To be honest, how I would repackage him, right? See, now I'm giving away ideas for free and shit. Andrade, I'd make him like a Love is Blind. Like, one of those people. Love is Blind type of like, loving Latin American Latino man who's, good with girls, right? Giving roses to girls or something. Right? I think they tried to do that with like Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis, but that guy was like so like pale white. Like that guy wasn't even like Latino or nothing. So it didn't work, right? But if you were to give that gimmick, right? See if Maria Kanellis and Andrade shacked it up, right? And he pulled off that gimmick of like giving roses to people, being all this romantica, Love is Blind type of guy. It would work. Okay, Andrade has that face, man. You know what I mean? But again, Triple H is just gonna like make him do the same thing for years, man. What was the point of bringing him back just to like, you know what I mean? Toss him away. And that's the thing he doesn't realize. He doesn't realize that it's not working. It's not connecting with the casual audience. He doesn't care to appease them though. That's the thing. Triple H is caught up in this Twitter head, right? This Twitter mindset of thinking that he doesn't have to appeal to casual fans. It's so dumb. Because you have perfect opportunities with people like Andrade, right? To take the Mexican market, to take the American market by storm. To make this guy a star. Okay, make him learn English, right? Duolingo, it's free, the app. Download it, please. Okay? And like come up with some cool concepts for Andrade, please, man. I do like him wrestling, okay? He has great in-ring skills. All these people I mentioned have great in-ring skills. The biggest thing is the character. Triple H does not know how to produce a character or create a character. That's the thing, man. There's so many people on the roster I can rebrand, okay? I should maybe do a video. I'm going to do that, okay? I'm going to do that for you guys. If Triple H steals, all right, I'm suing, okay? All right, but all these guys, I see potential, man. Even Kevin Owens, even Sami Zayn, I see potential. Okay, there's certain gimmicks, there's certain like boundaries and like, elements that you can change within Sami Zayn's character, right? Within his physique, within his look, right? This is called like artist development, okay? In marketing, right? In music marketing, it's called artist development, right? It's just working with what you have and leaning into it all the way. That's what it is. Okay, Sami Zayn, I know he doesn't look like he has much, but look, I have lots of ideas for him. Okay, I have ideas to make this guy a main eventer, but guess what? Triple H, he'll be opposed to that. The neckbeards, nope. Nope. Keep him the same. Make him wear the stinky old tights and the stinky old underwear that he wore in the indies. Keep him the exact same. He's good as he is. Oh, man. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Alright, you already know who this is. Alright, this is the high rise living, work wife stealing, Intern, Cjax.